This is Captain Fruel reporting for duty for a morning time live stream, which is something very unusual for me to do. So that's probably why I don't have anybody here. Hopefully some people will join me. I just shared this. This was a surprise impromptu. I just threw it out here. Now, I will say if you find this sounds weird, it's because I'm using a different for some reason YouTube doesn't like this audio device I'm using here. I do have a low voice, but it does dip it a little lower. So it is what it is. But that's okay. That's all good. And so anyway, I just wanted to hop in and I had a little time today because I have a dentist appointment scheduled because I have one more wisdom tooth and wisdom is leaving me. It's the last one I have and it needs to go. I think pretty soon here it's getting bad. Not as bad as the last one I had that made everything go really bad. So anyway, I know I'm lonely right now here, so I'm just gonna put a little hello in there, but that's okay. Some people can watch this later. I just figure I'd do this as a live stream rather than a pre-recorded. Let me take a sip of my coffee here so I get a little bit of benefit of both. So if anybody wants to join in, and once again, I don't expect high numbers. I didn't put up that I was going to do this at all or anything. So this is spur of the moment. Coffee, breakfast of champions. So anyway, I wanted to talk about two things: Mortal Kombat, as well as the Rotten Tomato score for the Batwoman television series that's coming out. But before I do, you know what? Right here we have this advertisement for Stadia, and I'm on Cinema Blend, by the way. The Stadia, whatever you're supposed to pronounce it. And I have looked into this. Being a gamer, play like a founder for $129 to get that equipment to play. I'm going to skip it. For a couple of reasons. One's $129, but games on there are going to be full price, absolutely full price. And there's a couple things there. I hear mixed versions of people talking about, and my view on that, is well. First of all, let me come where I come from. I'm a bit older, so I believe in having the physical product. I always want that physical product, and this is going to be digital only. And a digital only service is only as good as long as they support it. So all that money you put into it, would say if it doesn't last over a year, it's gone, or 5 years, it's gone. You've lost all that money. You don't have access because you're not actually buying the games. You're buying access to the games. So that's one point I don't like. And some people are like, well, Google, they're safe, secure. Yeah, sure they are. But Google's also had a history of, just like any other company, when something's not working to the way they want to, they dump it. They get rid of it. They say goodbye. And so that means all that money you put into Google Stadia or whatever is going to be gone. Another thing, too, is it will eat up a lot of bandwidth. And I found this, as I said, I've watched a lot and read a lot of this, and there's mixed views. And I think some of the mixed views are a misconception. Some people think they don't have a data cap. Read your small print in your agreement with your internet provider. Almost every internet provider has a data cap, and they might even be generous with you and let you go over. Someone will say after you go over a third time, then they start charging you for how much you go over, and it's a pretty steep price. Now, granted, you might go, well, I don't use internet much, and that might work for you. But otherwise, if you already watch a lot of movies and things like that, you're a YouTuber or whatever, you probably already use a lot of bandwidth. So it's going to be attacking you, your bandwidth pretty hard, and you could easily run out. So bear that in mind. That might not be as wonderful as people think it is. So that's another issue. So yeah, full price, they could yank it at any time. And then on top of that, you never, ever know when it might be the end. It might be blowing out your data cap, and then you're in trouble as well. So bear with me there. So I just seen an advertisement. There's a couple things I wanted to mention too, because they have no proof. They have no way you can force them to stay on. It's a business decision, and that's plain simple. If the business doesn't continue, it won't continue to go. Howdy, SMAXZO. I don't know how to pronounce that, which it's usual with me with any kind of name. I'm going to butcher it. Thanks for joining me. This is an unusual broadcast, rather in the road rage or something like this. I'm not at work right now. I'm going to go to work later. I'm doing a half a day because this morning I am going to the dentist, as I already mentioned, to get a wisdom tooth looked at. I think it's time to get my last bit of wisdom removed, my last wisdom tooth. It's time to say goodbye. So I figure I'll use the last bit of wisdom I have talking about a couple articles. So anyway, I just gave a little bit of my views on this because I seen this advertisement for Stadia, Stadia, whatever you want to pronounce it as. It's got some pluses too. It's cool that you got instant access, but overall the price and what it could do to your data stream and all that. Also, there will be lag. I don't care how much they say there's not going to be. When they provided at the shows an example of that, you realize they have the best equipment and everything right there with location. They don't have the distance and everything. There will be problems, especially if you're somebody like me out in the middle of nowhere and your internet is less than stellar. I can't see that being wonderful, but hey, you know what? I hope it works. And I think it's going to be great for some people, but not for everybody. And I'm one of those that's probably just not good for. All right. So with that said, I'm looking into this article, almost an argument, I don't know why, from Cinema Blend. It says Combat movie is officially filming. The Mortal Kombat movie photo reveals James Wan's Mortal Kombat movie is officially filming. This came out 12 hours ago from Hayden Mares. And here we go. We got a picture of Scorpion, which Scorpion's cool. Let's be honest. Cool dude. That looks good. I'm looking forward to this. I'm not going to go run and see it in the theater because I hardly run and see anything in the theater, to be honest with you. Just not anymore. It isn't in the cards. Look at that. I hate all these advertisements popping up, even pop-up blockers and all that. But anyway, it says before he directed Aquaman, which is another reason I have hope for this. If he directed Aquaman, did well, this could potentially be good too. Hopefully we get another good Mortal Kombat movie. The first one was pretty good. The second one was an absolute turd, and Annihilation. And now we have this. So before he directed Aquaman, James Wan was best known for his contributions to the horror genre. He directed The Conjuring, Insidious Chapter 2, Saw, and a slew of other popular horror films. I've seen The Conjuring, I believe. I don't think I've seen the Insidious movies. I did see Saw Chapter 2, so seen that as well. Good morning, Dave. I'm not going to say your last name. I apologize because I will make it sound profane because I can't speak, evidently. I only talk. Yet I still can't say names, so I don't mean any ill will there. We're talking about this Mortal Kombat film. But when Aquaman proved himself a box office success, which is a surprise to everyone, the world of new opportunities open up for the man. And, good for Aquaman. Aquaman needed some love, right? Aquaman is the redheaded stepchild of the Justice League that never gets any good publicity, hardly ever. Never gets a nice pat on the back. Hey, Aquaman, go jump in a lake. Yeah, we're going to go stop the bad guy. So now James Wan is involved in, and by the way, here's Smack me drinking coffee to stay alive. Now James Wan is involved in a number of high-profile projects, some of them superhero-centric, some of them not. One of these films is Simon Cloyd's upcoming Mortal Kombat film, which Wan is producing. And now we have a set of photos that confirms the film's production is officially underway. And that's awesome. I'm not 100% back behind the cast yet. I think there's a couple questionable decisions, but there's some good decisions, I think, there too. So, but then again, who knows? We've seen some surprise things with cast members that turned out in other movies much better than we expected. And so SMAXZO said, James Wan, why does his name sound familiar? Well, as I mentioned, he was involved in a few other movies there, so that could be why. And otherwise, other than that, I have no clue because I am not a top leading person in keeping track of Hollywood. That is for sure. Instantly recognizable, totally unpronounceable. That's almost any name for me. Anybody familiar with my channel knows for some reason I butcher names horrendously, and I feel so bad about that when I talk to people because I don't want to just butcher them, especially if it's going to sound really bad. All right. So anyways, Juan is producing this, and it says now we have that set of production photos and everything to get signed. So Greg Russo, the film's writer, recently took to Twitter to share a photo from the film's set. You could check it out below. And so here we go. Oh yeah, that's so revealing. May the elder gods watch over us. I don't know about you. That doesn't really set the world on fire. Ooh, yeah. This is showing so much detail. It's nice to know that it's on its way, though. Hopefully it won't be late, right? And hopefully they'll have time and release it and do a good job with the effects so they don't pull a Sonic. We don't need another movie blunder where we have to redo all the digital things again because everybody hated Sonic. By the way, anybody here watching, did you, when you seen the preview for Sonic, what did you think about that? I know Little Frugal watched it, and Little Frugal goes, "That's not Sonic, Dad. That's not Sonic." I said, well, that's the movies for you. That's what they think Sonic is, evidently. So now they say here, now I know this isn't much, but it's something, a concrete something. well, it isn't that concrete of anything. It's just says, hey, we're filming. It could be absolute garbage. What's more, this news comes just 2 months after the film's version of Sub-Zero was cast, making the film's eventual release feel far more real. Yes, because Sub-Zero is the end-all be-all. Come on, he's just one character. I know he's a fan favorite of many. I'll say it. I'll be the bad guy, but I was never a huge fan of Sub-Zero. I like Scorpion much better. I like Liu Kang. But Sub-Zero, he was okay. Sip of my coffee before I get burned at the stake for that. So Zach says we're actually getting news fairly consistently, so fans of the franchise had best start getting excited. Yes, you hear, you better get excited. I don't know. I don't think you can tell somebody to get excited. You can only get excited if you see something worth getting excited over. And I don't think this picture here, to be honest, is that much to get excited over. Just call it a hunch. After all, the film will have game accurate fatalities. Now, that's something I am looking into. Are you ready for that? Game accurate fatalities. I'm going to hold them to that. But then again, they didn't say which game, because they change a lot over the games. Because, that's something we really never got. We never got that game fatality. Well, we got a little bit of Annihilation, but oh gosh, the animalities were terrible. Oh, the film marks McQuaid's feature film debut, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles what may end up becoming a blockbuster if he does a good job. Yeah, you have a big uphill battle on that one, because one, it's a video game movie, which are notoriously mediocre at best, with very few exceptions. And you also have to combat the negative publicity that the previous movie gained. So you have to overcome that. So that's a big hill to climb over. It's far too early to make predictions or have informed opinions about the film, but the hype surrounding its release has us intrigued. Well, yeah, there's nothing to go off of yet except the cast, which is speculative in my opinion. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's great. Well, yeah, no kidding. It's not fun rooting against films before we know anything about them, especially when the film in question is under the direction of a new filmmaker. We have to give them a chance, right? So there's another problem. We have a new filmmaker. It's got an uphill battle. Let's be realistic about this. Uphill battle completely. We can only hope. So Paul W.S. Anderson directed and moderately successful Mortal Kombat film back in 1995. Actually did really good considering. Really did. Really good. For John R. Linetti took over for its sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. To this day, his ill-fated sequel is hated by fans and critics alike. I mean, it's pretty abysmal. Can you really blame him? Yeah, it was crap. That movie was absolute crap. But I tell you, if you want to watch a movie just for being a bad movie and make fun of it with a group of friends, that might be a good one to do. McQuaid's Mortal Kombat movie stars: Joe, I'm not going to say all these names, Lee, Josh, Chin, a whole bunch of these people it mentions. It's executively produced by Larry. Once again, I'm not going to mention all these names. You can read them on the screen yourself, because I'm just going to butcher them. Okay. So what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think in here, feel free to let me know in the chats here. I know there's only a whole 3 people in there right now. Because once again, I did not advertise this or anything. Do you think this is going to be a good movie? Too soon to tell, or is it going to be a complete piece of trash? I'll be interested. Is it going to be like Mortal Kombat 4? Not the movie, the game. I got a sneeze here. I probably should. Excuse me about that. No, if it was only a cough, that would have been good for a couple hundred subscribers. Too soon to tell? Yeah, I think so, Dave. Too soon to tell. I have wishful thinking. I really want it to be good, but I don't know yet. So switching gears, let's shift to Batwoman here, which I'm going to say right up. This article's from Bounding into Comics there. Okay, I tend to like this website. John Trent did this. John F. Trent, Rotten Tomatoes score for Ruby Rose, Batwoman on the CW reveal. Now, I will say, I think the costume is pretty cool. The costume is pretty cool. Hey, welcome back from the can. The costume is pretty cool for this. But I did talk about the high heels, right? I mean, we talked about this in an earlier video I did before about them pushing for realism, but yet you're doing a superhero show where realism really doesn't matter. You can dodge bullets, but you can't wear high heels. And don't get me wrong, I think if I was a woman, I wouldn't want to wear high heels into combat either, just for the record. But then again, It's a show. Do your job. It's sort of like Superwoman having to change outfits because it's too cold. It's not like she's out there standing there for hours. She can wrap up in a blanket, do her scenes for a few minutes, wrap back up until they're ready to shoot again. That was just malarkey. Well, anyway, let's look at what we got here going on. So the Rotten Tomatoes score for Ruby Rose's upcoming Batwoman television series for the CW has been revealed. Now, the score currently sits at 60% from 5 reviewers. Let's be honest, that's not a whole lot to go from. Okay, so we can't put too much stock into this yet at this point. It has 3 fresh reviews and 2 rotten reviews on an average rating of 6.67 out of 10. It says related fans react to CW's first Batwoman trailer starring Ruby Rose. Absolutely, I think you should check it out. So here we are there. We don't have a lot to go from, and really we only have the previews to go from too, which has some positives as well as some negatives, right? So let's look at what the critics are saying here. It says, Mandy at Joe Blow's Movie Emporium gives the film a rotten review of 6 out of 10. He writes, Batwoman has a lot of potential, but this pilot feels too torn. I think he's got a great point. When the show is not trying too hard, it works decently. But when it forces itself to deliver messages, it falls apart. And there's the problem with CW right there. CW started pretty good, and then if you notice, their shows start becoming more message heavy consistently, like Legends. Oh gosh, man, why don't you just give them a sledgehammer, for crying out loud? Supergirl is probably the worst you could ask for. It's a lecture with a show built around it. It's just not good, and that's what I fear. This show could have so much potential, just like Supergirl had a lot of potential. But when the hero jumps out and everything out of the hero's mouth is, I'm a woman, you're going to fight a woman, or you're not a man this time, there's going to be a problem, right? Let's be honest. You don't have to cut a man's balls off to make an interesting show or make them like a female character. Matter of fact, treat men with respect to probably love that female character. But unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be too much in the face. Now, granted, we don't know that for sure. We only see previews. Maybe it'll be a lot lighter on that. But based on what we've seen from CW, can we really expect that? What do you expect? Do you think CW is going to give us an even balanced, male-female show? Or is it men are bad, women are always good? That's what I fear. Charlie, originally at comicbook.com, gives the film a rotten review with 3 out of 5. He writes, thanks to poorly conceived supporting cast and a serious lack of identity, the Batwoman pilot isn't all that great, especially if you're not a mega fan of the already existing Arrowverse franchise. And there's a point too. Can it actually carry its own on its own story? Who knows? Let's check out this Harrington person here of Den of Geek gives the film a fresh rating of 4 out of 5. They write, a stylish entry into Arrowverse, one that's worthy of both the Bat family and impressive DC TV lineage. There may be some point that is definitely stylish, so we'll see, but not stylish enough to have high heels. All right. Susan Polo at Screen Rant gives the film a fresh rating. She writes, so that's going to be interesting too. Do we see a different view based on female and male perceptions of this show? I'd be interested to see that. Because I'm, quality's quality, or lack of is lack of. My wife watched Supergirl with me as well, and my daughter, and she said the same thing. It consistently went downhill with agenda over story, and that turned them off completely. Did no care to watch the show, like most of the viewers. So anyway, this writer, she says, if I have a favorite thing about it, it's that the show understands that the best Batwoman stories are about integrity and who can and can't afford to have it. Really? You've got all that already on this thing? How did you get that much from this? I call bullcrap on this one. Automatically thinking integrity just because of what? How much have you actually seen? Jesse Sheeden at IGM gives the film a fresh rating of 6.7 out of 10. They write, while the new series will have little trouble filling the void left by Arrow next year, it may face a more difficult battle when it comes to establishing its own identity. Yeah, that could be, especially with all the DC and Marvel shows constantly overcoming everything right now. there's just so much out there. The competition has increased significantly. So it does make you wonder if it's going to be able to overcome that. Though it has the Batman name with Batwoman, and it does have some. I think it looks like it's off, pretty good start. It doesn't look like a crappy, cheesy costume. Not like that Red Tornado we've seen originally in Supergirl. Oh gosh, that was terrible. Remember Red Tornado from that? Anyway, it says Batwoman will debut on the CW on Sunday, October 6th at 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central Time. New episodes will premiere every Sunday. Here's the official description of the show. Kate Kane, Ruby Rose, soars through the shadowed streets of Gotham as Batwoman. I think she's probably a decent casting for that part. But don't call her a hero yet. In a city desperate for a savior, she must first overcome her own demons before embracing the call to be Gotham's symbol of hope. Yeah, I bet she'll be deemed a hero by herself within the first issue or by the other people because she's a female superhero, right? Only time will tell. I do hope it's good. I think they have the trailer here. I don't know how well I can play this on here. Let's see what actually happens here. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know if this will give me any trouble or not. Hey, you know what? I'll do what I can. If it does, I don't care. I'm not monetizing this crap anyway. Dun, 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 dun. So far, it's somewhat visually interesting. All right. So there's that there, a little bit there. I don't know about you. Does that make you want to see this thing or not really? I didn't really jump anything too special to me. It makes it look like it could be visually okay. It doesn't look too cheap and all that. And it looks like it could be for a little bit of entertainment, but hopefully it's not thrown with too much SJWs and bullcrap. Can they stay away from it? Can they stay from falling into the Superwoman trap of too much lecture and too little substance that absolutely ruins the story? Only time can tell, because their agenda pushed it and kills that show, which makes me surprised it's actually still on the air with its constantly sinking ratings. Yet I love how all these people are coming to me. The SJWs, oh, but it's so high rated. It's not. The ratings weren't that high over it, and they were constantly decreasing. Just like I said too, why Arrow is getting canceled isn't 100% because the main actor, that happens is their contracts change too with ratings to a degree, and the show was going down. It was probably time to hang it up. It was getting old, and so and it's probably time for a replacement. Maybe we'll see more Green Arrow in other shows once in a while. Why not? And of course, he's not. Stephen Amell is not going to say bad things because it allows him opportunity to reprise the role in different ways. He probably could be a guest star several times to help with that. It's just combination of things. All right, everyone. I just thought I'd do this video instead of like a road rage video or something. I thought I'd do this live rather than a cut video that that I took time with the edit and all that stuff, which I'm not really going to take a lot of time to edit anyway. A video like this. Not because of laziness, it's just there's not a point to it. So I don't get to do many live streams, so I wanted to pop in and try to do a live stream when I get the opportunity to do that. And this actually gave it to me because, as I said, I didn't have to go to work right away. So there you have it. If you haven't noticed, there's a couple things I want to mention too. Little Frugal and I, who did a 3,000 subscriber challenge, we haven't hit that number yet. When we hit that, we're going to go to this place here, and it's like a strip mall between a comic shop and a game store, and we're going to give, I don't remember what I said, I'll have to look back because we're going to give whatever we said, 50 to 100 comic books away for free. Mainly alternative comic books to help keep people interested. We're going to go to that video game store. I think there's a very good connection between gamers and comic book people and get them connected. And the ones we give them at the comic book shop is 2 reasons too, because that comic shop still does not carry Alterna. So I figure if we give them Alterna comic books, they're going to come in there and start asking for Alterna comics, and then maybe have more Alterna comics in that store. So and one other thing too that we're going to do is Halloween's coming up. Little Frugal and I have something special we're going to do for Halloween when we go out trick-or-treating, because we can't give away things at our house. We live out in the middle of nowhere. No one's going to come to our house for Halloween. So instead what we're going to do is, because we take them to a small town and the kids get to go trick-or-treating that way. And this year Little Frugal's going to be Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm going to be wearing backpack full of comic books. I don't know how many yet. We're probably going to give away, I'm guessing, between 50 to 100 comic books to kids. And that's our goal. So while we walk and he does this trick or treating, we're going to see kids and we're going to give those comic books to kids. And sometimes what we'll do is also we'll give a comic book to the parents. We'll bring a couple adult ones that are giving out the trick or treating stuff too, and we'll give them some to give away while they're trick or treating. So we might go to a house, let's say, and they seem like they're pretty busy. Maybe we'll drop them 10 comic books. Hey, can you give these comic books away to the kids? So that's our game plan. We're going to give a lot of comic books away for Halloween. We're going to support this. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So not only are they going to get candy, which takes us forever to eat because we're not candy eaters that much in your house. So bear that in mind. And so that's what we're going to do. In the comments, they say, can't you be the captain? Just repaint your Captain America mask black. You know, funny you mentioned that. I'm actually almost to the point. I'm getting there. I'm going to be getting a different mask. It's going to be a higher quality mask. It's still a Captain America mask, but then I'm going to get it altered. It's just taken me a long time. We're only funded so much. We're 100% fan funded. I don't run ads on this channel. We want to make sure people realize we're about community building, having fun. It's not all about the money. Plus, it allows me to say what I want to say because YouTube can go, oh, we're not going to monetize that. And we can go, who cares? We don't monetize. Screw you. So, because I don't like their monetization practices. So we're 100% fan funded. So the way we get help is we have a link below. It's a Streamlabs link, one-time donation. You can click on that and just do a one-time donation. We also have a Patreon where we added another tier recently, a $2 tier. So I think we have a $1 tier, a $2 tier, and a $5 tier, which you can monthly help the channel. And we do put up sometimes some exclusive videos. I do a random giveaway once in a while. But anyway, we don't have a massive amount of money coming in, so we have to deal with what we have. You know, I have to put away a portion of that for a new computer because right now I'm limited in what I can broadcast. I can't do multiple people with Streamlabs. For some reason, I can video game stream through that, but not multiple people. It's just not powerful enough. So we're working on that. Also in their computer robots, I miss you and Engleting hanging out live in streams. I do too. I'm not avoiding him. I promise. It's just very, very hard for me to live stream right now. If you haven't noticed, I don't live stream near as much as I used to. Just for the record, for those of you that don't know what's going on, I have a stepfather that has severe mental illness, and it started occurring around a year ago. But over the last, I'd say, 6 months, he took a very fast downturn, so much so that I'm going over there and I contact him every day. We talk every day, and I go and check on him probably 4 or 5 days a week. I'm getting all of his groceries. He's not allowed to drive anymore it's just, there's problems. He sometimes doesn't even remember who I am. He forgets that he lives there. So I'm spending probably 25 hours a week taking care of him. I do have a court date coming up next month on the 10th to get guardianship of him so I can help him more and handle some more of his legal financial issues there that arise. But that's a long process. I did try. Yes, he has dementia as well. So he's forgets about everything, Alzheimer's and dementia. But I tried to do it the easy way, which was he could sign off guardianship, which he was 100% willing to do and wanted to. But unfortunately, his mental capacity was so low, they wouldn't allow him to contract. So legally, he couldn't contract. So I have to go this route to do it. So right now, I had to put up a thing in the paper in case anybody wants to contest that. So I've been watching him. So when I do a live stream, whenever I do a live stream at night, I have to have somebody there watching him, because he calls me on average 20 to 25 times a day. And sometimes I have to drop everything in a moment's notice and run over there because things he's saying, it's not safe to leave him there alone and not check on the situation. I can't bring him and have him live at our house. I've tried that and it didn't work. It's too much of a mental stress on him. And he leaves at all times of the day otherwise. So there's been some issues. I have to, if he's walked off, he can get lost, even just walking, and I have to search for him. So yeah, he's not going to recover. This is a degenerative thing that's not recoverable unless, an act of God. So my step here is to get legal guardianship because I can't put him in a home right now because he'll leave. If he'd be able to leave on his own accord, and he will. He won't stay anywhere, even if he says he wants to. Like he said he's wanted to move in. I've tried 3 times, and I can't. Every time he takes up and walks off and or tries to leave, and it's because mentally he can't handle it. You could see the stress on him. Because he needs the repetition. So I need to have a place where they can lock down and keep an eye on him 24/7 because he doesn't take his medications otherwise like he's supposed to. It's just one challenge after another. I'll give you an example. I had to cancel a live stream a while back that I was planning on doing because he plugged his toilet. And he didn't just plug his toilet, it's a 2-story house. He had the upstairs so bad it was running down the steps from the upstairs. The kitchen was all flooded with feces and things like that too. And so I ended up I couldn't just plunge that one. It actually was backed up all the way to sewer. I have a plumber friend and I borrowed his mechanical auger there for that. And I still couldn't break through. Unfortunately, he knew of another guy that would help me out with even a more powerful machine to help me. It's just stuff like that every day. I'll go over there and he'll have garbage in his freezer and things like that. It's just because mentally his capacity is no longer there. So sorry, I didn't mean to long ramble, but my point is this: I would love to do that with him, but I always have to have things well ahead of time, well in place. And then even with the best intention, sometimes it's something that they can't handle. So it makes it a little hard to do. So hopefully when I get things back on track, I can do this. And I'd love to do more with him and some of the gang there, Weaponized Nerve Rage and all that. They're an absolute blast to talk to. I feel thankful that they'd even be willing to have me. All right. The computer robot says, I hope you and your mom take very good care of him and yourselves. Well, unfortunately, my mother passed away years ago. So it's just my wife and I taking care of him. But it is what it is. So this is my first time taking care of somebody. So it's, I look at it this way. It's a blessing. It's an opportunity to share love on somebody else. And hopefully someday if I ever need that kind of care, somebody will care enough to do that for me too as well. So all is good. My mother's in a good place now. It's where she needs to be. So don't feel bad, by the way. Anyway, whatsoever, she was sick for over 6 years. And it was time for her to go. So rough decisions to make. Matter of fact, I had to make that decision, which that's the one a son never wants to have to make. Well, anyway, I got way off a topic. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I'm going to close this up. Really appreciate it. Once again, I didn't expect massive numbers. This was a, hey, surprise, I'm going to do something talking about the news things that I just received and just have a little fun because I had the opportunity. So thank you. And until next time, keep it frugal.